I say we start with Canada and we'll save US for a second.
I
All
mean,
right.
let's give the losers their due and let them go first. So, yeah.
I'm going to assume everybody has seen the rosters, so not going to read all the names, but definitely a few snubs, especially for Canada. Logan Thompson, I think, is going to be this show's big snub. They decided to go with Sam Montembeau over Logan Thompson, which baffles my mind as biased as I want to be. Bedard, that's probably the biggest name that got snubbed. Um, Sam Bennett on the roster, that was a very uh interesting choice. I don't hate it, but I know a lot of people didn't have that on their mock-ups. Seth Jarvis is another banger that people were a little bit stunned by. I'm trying to think. I saw some Habs fans saying Suzuki should be in there.
Yeah, that one was interesting. There was reports coming out that he actually turned it down.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
now I think that adds a whole nother layer to this is how many people were offered but said, I want to focus on my NHL season respectfully. I get it, but unlike an all-star game, I can say no to this.
Yeah.
your thoughts on Canada? Um, just overall. By the way, before I toss that, sorry, Pareko and Sanheim, another two that a lot of people were stunned by.
I could see that. The other big one, I think, did you say Steven Stamkos?
Okay, I didn't, but I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think he was gonna get on.
Shout out to Netters because they brought this up, but I don't think he was on that Olympic team that won gold in 14 either.
Yeah.
And I don't think he was on the one in 2010 either. So where are we with not putting Stamkos on Team Canada now? I don't know. I just feel like at this point the guy's probably earned it, right?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I definitely think he could make a case for being on here. I mean, honestly, I'll tell you what, we said this before the rosters came out. The number one guy, and I saw a lot of people tweeting things like you're absolutely allowed to nitpick these rosters, but every time you say somebody that should have been on a roster, you better tell me somebody who should have come off too, which is a fair judgment because it's really hard to try and say somebody who didn't deserve to be there along with the guy you think did. But I'll come out right here and say it. I said it before. Mark Stone, man, this guy, he's so fucking injured all the time. He's gonna be injured. Somebody tweeted, "Isn't Mark Stone gonna have an injury to fake around that time?" Which I thought was
Which is so
hilarious.
accurate.
But like honestly, like not even that. Like all respect to him, he's a fucking gamer. I don't want to take that away from him. Stanley Cup champion, obviously, but like, if I'm Mark Stone, I'm saying no to this shit. I've got a
Yes.
bad back. I've got like, I'm trying to fucking win again with the Knights right now. Like,
Right.
I'm up to a million trying to, isn't he the captain of that team too? Like, he's
Yes.
trying to just
Yes.
fucking captain that team to some more success here. I get you want to play for your squad, but like, I don't know, dude. Like, you really think you're in the best position to help Team Canada win right now? Like, I can't imagine that guy is fully healthy or maybe is ever going to be fully healthy again at this point. Like, I don't know.
I
I
agree.
I
I
would
mean,
rather see Stamkos than him. I'd rather see a couple people than him.
100% agree. I'd swap Stamkos for him. And like you said, that's no diss on Mark Stone. He's an incredible player and one of the most competitive guys in the NHL. But if this is the Olympics and we're going best on best, totally get it. You have a chance to win an Olympic gold medal. That's something that
Yes.
literally so few people on this planet get to
That's the
do.
kind of thing that you can equate to, playing through with a freaking broken foot to try and win a Stanley Cup or whatever it
Right.
is. You're just going to find a way.
But
But
for
yeah,
something
this is
that's
like a
in lieu
Mickey
of a,
Mouse, like
yeah,
bragging rights tournament. Like, why? If I'm Mark Stone, I'm like, I'm good. I appreciate the offer. I'm humbled, but no. Like,
yeah, it's in lieu of an all-star game. Let's also remember that. I understand that this is going to be very competitive and it's going to get very competitive very quickly. But yeah, you got a whole rest of your season to worry about, dude. And some tournament that is in place of an all-star game to me is nowhere near what a Stanley Cup would be.
also, yeah, I honestly can't believe Colton Pareko's on this
And
roster.
I don't get that at
I
all.
don't even think he's like a top like 20 defenseman in the NHL.
So I'm not. I feel like I can't comment on this because like I don't watch enough Blues games. I know Blues fans will say this guy's a beast. I know he's big. I know he's got a hard shot. He's physical. Yeah, it's a little It's a little surprising. I think Sanheim, I do want this is East Coast bias, but I get to see a little more Philly. He's had a good year.
You're telling me Jacob Chikrin doesn't make it and Colton Parayko does?
Embrace debate.
I
Right.
thought Chikrin's
He is
USA.
he is American, you're right. Yeah.
He's Pompano.
Yeah. That's right. He's a
He's friends
Florida
with
guy.
friends with Lamar.
Yeah.
My overall take on Canada, it like the offense is a lot more defensive than I thought they were going to go. Like they get Shirelli, they get Jarvis, Konechny, Hagel. These guys, I mean Marner's a lot, but like the guys I just listed, a lot of two-way guys, a lot of guys who can kill penalties, play fourth line minutes, and probably not throw a fuss. So that's pretty cool, I
Yeah, that's
guess.
fair. Even
So
Marchand at this point is like a
yeah.
specialist like this year. He's not scoring goals. He's like a good player, good two-way player, but like,
Can I piss off the Flyers fans for a second? Just
of
make them
Rip.
course.
real mad. I would not have put Konechny on this team. I'm sorry.
I will disagree with that take.
That's fair.
I think he's a gamer. I think so. You know how they
I,
did
I
that.
would
I'm
I would
torn on that one.
I would put Lafreniere on this team before I'd put Konechny on there.
So that's the
I
one where
might too.
that's the one where I'm like, okay, I get that. And
What about you mentioned this in our group chat, 55 for the Winnipeg Jets.
Oh
Shifley
yeah.
is definitely a
Oh, I would
snub.
take him over TK any day.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, yes, I think it, but I've been reading people say like, well, Konechny can play a fourth line role because like he kind of
true.
came up through that and he's a little scrappier. So it's like, how do you want to build a team? I'm shocked. I love Sam Bennett. Trust me, I love Sam Bennett. I'm a little
Right.
surprised he made it over Laffy, just considering what Laffy has shown us this year and
Do you think
injuries.
that's like a chemistry move with him and Reinhardt where they're going to like slap him on the same line and be like, you guys play together every day in practice, just go make something happen?
Maybe, yeah. I'm so interested also to see how these lines shake out. Like I'm pretty sure we're gonna get Marchand, McKinnon, Crosby, which is gonna be sick. But I heard McDavid in an interview saying how I think him and Bennett were teammates growing up in U16, U18, I don't know, whatever they call it up there. So like there's a little chemistry there. Um, the goaltending is where everything falls apart for me.
Yeah, I also like now that we mentioned Nick Suzuki, I can't help looking at this roster going, oh my God, Nick Suzuki would be perfect here.
If you told me Nick Suzuki over Konechny, now I'm
Oh, that's a
listening.
no-brainer.
I'm a little, or maybe, what do you think about Jarvis? That's the one I'm like,
I
does
mean,
it
he's having a
belong?
hell of a year. You
He
kind of
He
is.
have
is.
to. You
Yeah.
He
kind of have
is.
to.
He is. Mac, you're quieter than I thought.
No, I mean, you guys are nailing it. I am curious, like with the Suzuki denying the roster spot. I wonder who got the call instead of him. Maybe it's TK. I don't know.
Perhaps.
The goalie thing. I mean, that is just mind-boggling that they think these guys are better than Thompson.
I agree.
I think he's so much better than Montembeau. I think he's better than Aiden Hill.
I think he's much better than Aiden Hill.
I think he's better than Jordan Bennington.
I would argue he's a better goalie than anyone they chose,
Right.
probably. But yeah, it's a little odd. I don't know.
So who would you take off if you had to put LT in here?
Montembeau, probably.
I
Yeah.
think I would take out Binnington. I think I think
No.
No,
I
Binner is a lock just from
winning a Stanley
sure,
Cup.
yeah,
Yeah.
basically
Okay.
just from having battled through an entire Stanley Cup playoff. Like he's been there. They want someone who's played in like super high intensity situations before.
Right.
So I get that, and I kind of get that for Aiden Hill too. Like he just won a Stanley Cup. Um, Monty, he showed some bright moments in his career so far, but I really don't understand that selection.
I think he's played decently well for the Habs this year, considering
Sure.
what they have to work with.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, let's just say it's a good problem
I
to
mean, the
have for
Caps are
the
the
Stars
best
and
team in the
Stripes.
NHL right now.
Yeah,
Like they're literally at the
Yeah.
top of the NHL standings right now.
yeah. If someone told you last year that the top two teams in the NHL on December
Caps
9th
and the Wild.
would be the Washington Capitals and the
I
Minnesota
actually
smoking
Wild,
last
something.
night I was looking at the standings and in my head I was like, a Capitals Wild Stanley Cup final could
Would be
fit
fun.
could heal the earth.
It could. I think it would. I'd be all for it.